Should we be afraid of Mashiach? There's a mental block that a lot of people have when it comes about Mashiach. They've heard certain statements which made them tremble in fear from the coming of Mashiach. They view Mashiach as a time of punishment when they'll be punished for all their sins. They view Mashiach as a time of judgment, or there's going to be terrible things that will happen before Mashiach will come. And it's interesting to see how many people have limited knowledge and understanding of Mashiach, but the few things that they do know make them tremble in fear and in fright from the coming of Mashiach. Someone would think that Mashiach is some ugly monster that's coming to destroy the world, God forbid. And perhaps we need to be saved from Mashiach. In truth, in the view of Judaism, so even though there is obviously these statements are not coming from thin air, but the proper perspective is as follows. First of all, yes, our sages do speak about Chevlei Mashiach, the birth pangs that will come before Mashiach. But as many sages said, we already passed that stage. We already were Yoitza, we already, had enough, more than enough of suffering and terrible calamities that passed, that we've experienced, most notably the Holocaust in recent history and so on and so forth, that we already passed the stage of the Chavli Mashiach, of the birth pangs of Mashiach. So for somebody to be still afraid of Mashiach because he believes that there's going to be there's always has to be something terrible is missing the boat. Whatever passed. Right now, we should be looking forward to the coming of Mashiach in a positive way. Second of all, other statements that people have think about the coming of Mashiach as a day of judgment, etc., they often confuse with another period which our sages talk about, which is the time of Tchias HaMesim, the time of the resurrection of the dead, which is the later stage, which happens after Mashiach comes, and is a separate idea altogether, and it has nothing to do with the coming of Mashiach in of itself. Yes, eventually it leads up to that, but it's a completely separate topic, a separate period, and the Zohar says that the suffering that the Jewish people had in exile will vindicate them from the punishment, from the severity of the Yom Hadin, of this great day of judgment. So if people will look at Mashiach, I think the real issue is people have to start looking at Mashiach, what Mashiach is really all about. Mashiach is not about world wars, Gog u'Magog, which, as a number of sages say, already happened, or it's not necessarily going to happen. Mashiach is not about terrible birth pangs or days of judgment. Mashiach is about the great godly revelation. Hashem will send a messenger that will teach the world how to be the way it was supposed to be in the first place. For the Jewish people, Mashiach's job will be to build a holy temple, gather in the exiles, to restore the kingdom of King David, the true Jewish independence in the land of Israel. And for the world at large as well, Mashiach will teach the whole world how to serve Hashem in unity. Mashiach is pure good. He's not coming to break the world. He's coming to correct the world, to fix the world, to elevate the world. And if we try to focus not on all the external trappings, different statements that we hear about this will happen, that will happen, if we try to zoom in what Mashiach is all about and what he really stands for and try to understand what his message really is, it will help us, first of all, look forward to his coming, and also to prepare for his coming, and to internalize why this is something which is happening now, and why this is something that we shouldn't be afraid of. The essence of Mashiach is pure good. It's all the good that we Jewish people have done in Torah mitzvahs and elevating the world for the past few thousand years. It's finally going to become revealed. We'll be able to access all the hard work we've invested in the world, and we will be able to see the true face of the world, the true good that's embedded in the world. All the other things that we hear about are either things that already have passed, the negative things that will come before Mashiach, and at best they are things that are not necessary to happen. Many people have this timeline of events that have to happen when Mashiach comes, which is a lot of times is a mix of different ideas. And as the Rambam himself points out, that all these things are not necessarily going to happen in any specific way that we could define ahead of time. What we do know is, with certainty, that Mashiach will teach us how to live our lives a better way. Mashiach will introduce a world where there will be no hunger, no war, no jealousy, a world that will be filled with the knowledge of Hashem in a way that people will enjoy it. People won't feel they're being forced into something that they're not interested in. The reason why our sages explain the exile has dragged on for so long is precisely so that Mashiach should not come in a manner that he's superimposing himself on the world. If the Mashiach came in order to, bring doom and disaster to the world, it could have happened a long time ago. The reason why it extended for so long was that finally when he arrives, he should arrive in a good way, in a peaceful way, in a way that we're completely ready and we've already put in all our hard effort in elevating the world. So when Mashiach arrives at the scene, we will just merge with him, we will be ready to accept him, to follow his teachings, and to bring and to experience the true good. So next time when we try to be afraid of Mashiach, the message is, let us try to learn a little bit more about what Mashiach is all about. Let us try to become more familiar, not with all the external trappings of this would happen, that will happen, before and after. Let's discuss what he really is all about. The more we familiarize ourselves with that, the less we will have anxiety about Mashiach's coming, and the more we'll actually start looking forward to his coming. We merit his coming speedily in our days. Amen.
Amen.